$150.
Yes.
It was the $150 that I got that said, you know what, somebody at least thought enough to give me a $50 scholarship, and I gave back, and then went on into...
$50 went a lot farther than it does now today.
Well, yeah, but...
But now you're returning the favor. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
He had a student come to one of his events, and she was one of the first students that received his scholarship.
Oh, wow.
And she was now a successful person in business and was standing there thanking him for the opportunity from that scholarship, which is one of his first ones, and I thought that was really special.
Yeah, I wanted to touch base a little bit, you know, not only as a trustee member that I serve, but I serve the Assembly and the Senate, and now in Congress. It's important that we have people who have experience, because when you have the experience, then you have the knowledge, you have the expertise, and California then gains. When you lose a person from California that doesn't have the experience, then you're not at the table, you're at the very end. So that becomes very important, because seniority does play an important part in Washington, D.C. It's not like any other place where people are going to move up to the table. That's why when I was talking about Angel earlier in Paulina, when I was talking about the nutritional program that I did, it's because of my own personal life experiences, not only from hunger of 42 million people that were going hungry, but I also changed the name of food stamps to SNAP. And the reason I did that, a lot of people don't know, why is there a change? And they don't even know why it happened.
Right.
Well, it happened because I wanted to put dignity into a name, because as a stereotype, if you're on food stamps, it's like people look at you from a negative perspective.
You're right. Yeah.
And I used to receive food stamps, and a lot of people don't. This is you, the congressman, used to receive food stamps? Yes, I did. You know, when I was young, my wife and I had our first child. During that period of time, I received food stamps. And I remember at the grocery store, people would look at me like, I mean, I wouldn't even have the dignity that I wanted to have. They made me feel so bad counting the stamps. So therefore, I says, okay, I'm changing the name, but I'm also changing the food stamps to debit cards.
Right.
So now, when somebody goes, you know, to a grocery store, it looks like an American Express or a Gold Card. You know, it looks the same. It says, hey, man, you know what, take my card. You know, before it was like, oh, man, that person's going to have to take that bottle back. You can't take it, you know. So I brought in, you know, a little respect back into it. So we need to continue, and I want to go back to Washington, D.C. to continue to make sure that I fight, you know, for nutritional programs, to make sure that people continue to receive the assistance that they need. You know, at the same time, I want to make sure that a lot of our kids in our school, as I said, through the lunch program, receive assistance. And then, of course, wanting to go back and make sure that we continue to help a lot of our veterans. But one of the things that I've done is that, you know, not only served in the military, I'm one of the few individuals that actually voted against going to war. And many individuals, and it was a very difficult decision. Many of our soldiers that have died, we've lost over 4,500 men and women who have died.
103 here locally.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's quite a few, Paulina, that have died. And I think one is too many. And I voted against going to war. And it was you know, and it was the right vote, because we never found any weapons of mass destruction that were there. We should have never gone there. And I hope that we can pull off Afghanistan and bring back all of our troops. But as I stated, I want to make sure that when our troops come back, that they receive the benefits that they're entitled to, and then we take care of them and their families and provide the training so they can get jobs in the area.
And I take it you do have a plan of action for that?
I do have a plan of action in helping a lot of our veterans. You know, I want to make sure that, especially those returning from, we must continue to ensure that our vets receive the best benefits possible. We also must work to find them good jobs when they come home. I want to develop a public-private partnership to shelter for homeless veterans too as well, because there's a lot of our veterans that are homeless out there, and we should look at shelters and developing a partnership, you know, with a lot of them. You know, I want to look at develop educational programs for our veterans to receive treatment if they suffer from mental health or depression. I'm also proposing legislation that will create partnership between the USDA and the private sector to create a $10 million project designed to fund Veterans Gardens program, you know, because this helps a lot of us. Then I also want to help get them employed and learn the job skills. In addition, I'm working on legislation to provide student loan forgiveness for students who serve in our military. You know, a lot of them have served on there, and the highest cost to a lot of our students is the loan. So maybe, you know, we can get a lot of our students to go into the military, get a loan for forgiveness if they serve there. That's a new initiative. It's not tried. I mean,
I like that.
So, you know, it gives them an opportunity to go there, or, you know, a Job Corps, a Peace Corps, or something like this. Because, you know, we want kids to have an opportunity, and they says, well, I've got the loans, now I can't pay them back. So go into the military, go into the Job Corps, and get forgiveness, and then get back, and you still have the GI Bill, you know, to help yourself, too, as well. So I'm looking at ideas that we might be able to do, and then trying to look at foreclosures too as well. And how do we help many of the people that have lost a lot of their homes in the area? This area is fourth in the nation. We're the highest in poverty in the area. We've got to do a lot more to attract businesses and jobs and manufacturing into the area. We should do more to provide tax incentives and tax breaks for a lot of our small businesses in the area, and we should attract them. See, how can we attract those businesses? What kind of assistance can we provide? How can we let the banks assure that the loans are provided for? Because most of the small businesses, Paulina and Angel, they say, well, you know what, we're not able to get the loans. And the banks need to free up the money so a person can hire someone and expand their business, and then change the permitting process. So this way it's not duplicated, it's not costly for individuals, so you don't have to go to 4 or 5 or 3 different kind of agencies. You go to one-stop center, and then at that area you get your permit, and you shouldn't have to go to 2 or 3 or 4 different permitting processes.
I know what you mean.
I know what you mean. Time is money. Time is money.
Excuse me, Mr. Baca. You know, I had a problem with my housing problem, what you're talking about. I went through that. I'm a victim of that, so I'm in Ontario, so I'm going to vote this year. So
all right, baby.
I'm just letting you know that I like what I hear so far. I do want to give whoever your opponent is a fair share, and I know where my heart is already. So I just want to let you know that with all due respect, I like what you're about. I like what you're promising, and then you've done it in the past. So
well, you've got to lead by example.
Exactly.
I think you can talk about everything that you want to, but what have you actually done?
Right.
You know, what have you done to make a difference in this country, in this world, and what have you done in each position that is done? That's why, you know, in this area, I brought in $154 million just to this area. I brought in more than some of the Republicans who have been in office here. Into the area, in each of the cities that have gained an awful lot. A lot of the roads, the freeways, the infrastructure, SBX right out here, the $34 billion out here.
Things like that.
Railroad
It's
crossing
things like
in the
that.
area.
Yeah, the new bridges coming in, yes.
Okay, well, don't go nowhere, Mr. Baca. If you can stay some more, hang out.
Oh, if you give me my time, I'll give you some more.
Yes, we're here. We got Mr. Joe Baca.
And I tell all of you out there tuned in, you are getting an earful. I bet you guys didn't even know. I mean, I know a lot of you are out there saying, what does Congress do for me? What does my congressman do for me?
Now they know.
He hasn't done anything for me. And that's because you don't know. Now you're getting a little education from Mr. Joe Baca right here.
But don't go nowhere. We got some more talking with Mr. Joe Baca. You know what? Stephanie from Colton called. She wanted to hear something from Barbara Mason as well as you did a little while ago. You said somebody want to hear something?
Right.
We're going to do a little Barbara Mason right now for you guys.
We got Paul Escarcega out there tuned in. Franco Choa, I got you, homies. KCAA AM 1050.
Eastside ThumpRecords radio show in full effect. Come on.
Rocky Padilla.